caught on camera on the use of force at Jantar Mantar. Police brutality was on public display at the Jantar Mantar protests. The massive use of force by the Delhi police and unidentified people on student protesters in the national capital clearly breached all known protocols of crowd control. After its initial reluctance, the Supreme Court of India has now agreed to hear complaints of police excesses on Monday, July 27. Meanwhile, multiple video clips that have surfaced online show personnel, both in uniform and in normal clothes, using violence with an apparent intent to harm and terrorize protesters rather than to disperse them. Some protesters have sustained pellet injuries that the police and the authorities have yet to explain. In one video, an identifiable senior official of the Delhi police is seen slapping a girl who was standing nearby. In another, an unidentified person in uniform with three stars is seen poking a girl from behind while she was walking away. In a third video, in a third video, personnel are seen surrounding a girl with one of them groping her while the others leer and laugh. Some people not in uniform but wearing helmets are seen in video clips on social media beating protesters. Some have been caught on camera carrying sticks with long nails while others are seen smashing vehicles. All this has happened while the protesters were barring a stray incident or two peaceful. Those who unleashed violence, whether authorized police personnel or vigilantes who infiltrated the student protests, need to be identified, pursued, and held accountable. The police violence against student protesters in Delhi followed a pattern. In 2020, a mob entered the JNU campus and attacked students even as police looked away. No serious investigation or arrest followed. In 2019, personnel of the Delhi police entered the library of Jamia Millia Islamia and beat up students during the protests against the Citizenship Amendment Act. The crackdown on protesters demonstrating against recurring paper leaks in various examinations marked a new low in this trend. There is an evidence that the protesters, who included teenagers, families with toddlers, and women, were involving in large-scale violence that warranted the level of police force used. It is heartening that the Chief Justice of India has clarified that his earlier reluctance to hear complaints was only technical in nature and that the court is now open to those who seek justice. The court now has before it to has the court now has before it two petitions documenting the nature and extent of the force used by the police. There must be a thorough investigation to find out exactly who was involved and whether the use of force was authorized and proportionate. There must be special attention paid to complaints of assaults of a sexual nature and to those targeting women and children. Those found guilty must face the full force of law. Analysis: police accountability and protection of democratic rights must go hand in hand. The editorial strongly condemns the excessive use of force by the Delhi police during the Jantar Mantar student protests, arguing that the violence went far beyond legitimate crowd control measures and the represented a very serious violation of democratic norms and human rights. It points to multiple videos showing police personnel and unidentified individuals assaulting peaceful protesters, including women, raising disturbing allegations of physical and sexual abuse. The editorial questions why such force was used when there is little evidence that largely peaceful protesters posed a threat warranting such action. It also notes that this incident is not isolated but follows a pattern seen in earlier protests at JNU, Jamia Millia Islamia, and other demonstrations, suggesting a recurring culture of impunity in policing dissent. While welcoming the Supreme Court's decision to hear petitions on the matter, the editorial stresses that justice requires more than judicial scrutiny. It calls for an independent and thorough investigation to identify everyone responsible, determine whether the use of force was authorized and proportionate, and ensure that those guilty of misconduct, especially in case involving violence against women and children, are held accountable under the law. Ultimately, the editorial argues that in a democracy, the police must protect citizens' constitutional rights to peaceful protest rather than suppress dissent through intimidation and brutality, as unchecked abuse of state power undermines public trust in both law enforcement and democratic institutions.